Samsung's back with a new type of Galaxy S series phone, the Galaxy S25 Edge. This Samsung flagship is meant to be thinner than ever, but is this the sharp new edge that the Galaxy line needed? I'm Will for GSM Arena, and let's find out in our Galaxy S25 Edge review. The Galaxy S25 Edge is the newest member of the S25 family, and its claim to fame is being extra thin and light for its size. Just like the Galaxy S25 Plus, the Edge is built around a 6.7-inch screen, but it's as light as the smaller S25, and it's even thinner, 5.8mm. The difference in thickness is especially drastic when comparing to the larger Galaxy S25 Ultra. There are some downgrades that had to happen to slim this phone down though. For example, its battery is smaller, and it doesn't have a telephoto cam. Still, it aims to deliver the same user experience that you'd expect from a Samsung flagship, while being able to slip into your pocket much more easily. The S25 Edge has a back made of Gorilla Glass Victus 2, and it meets a titanium frame with a sharp edge. Overall, the phone feels quite light and easy to wield. Just like the other S25s, the Edge has IP68 rated ingress protection against dust and submersion in water. And the display here is quite similar to the one on the S25 Plus. It's a 6.7-inch OLED with a QHD resolution and a 120Hz refresh rate. Samsung is using a different screen glass this time around though, called Gorilla Glass Ceramic 2. This display looks good. There's plenty of screen real estate here, with thin bezels, and there's good sharpness thanks to the high resolution. There's support for HDR10 Plus video here too, but not Dolby Vision, as usual for Samsung. The max brightness is very good, and along the lines of what we've seen from the other S25s. We measured up to around 770 nits with the manual slider, and this can boost to over 1400 nits in auto mode when you need it. And because of its LTPO tech, the display's refresh rate is extra adaptive to save energy. It can dial down from a smooth 120Hz down to 24Hz, or even as low as 1Hz in certain situations. For audio, there's a pair of stereo speakers. They're not quite as loud as the rest of the S25 lineup, and there's less bass here as well. You can listen for yourself with our comparison tool linked below. You can wake up and unlock the S25 Edge with an ultrasonic under-display fingerprint reader. It's quite reliable and speedy. And you can get the phone with 256 or 512 gigs of storage on board. That's not expandable through microSD card. The Galaxy S25 Edge runs on the same software as the other Samsung flagships, the latest One UI 7 on top of Android 15. It's a familiar setup with plenty of customizations over stock Android. There's an extensive suite of Galaxy AI features too, and an update which debuts on the Edge is a visual engine for the AI assistant, so you can just point the camera at an object and ask a question about it. If you'd like to dive further into the specifics of One UI 7 and its AI features, you can check out our dedicated video. And for software support, the S25 Edge will get 7 major OS updates and 7 years of security patches from Samsung. Now let's talk about the chipset. It's a Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy, the same as you'd get in the other S25 models. The 4 Galaxy moniker means that it's an overclocked version of the regular Snapdragon 8 Elite, so the performance should have a bit of an edge over your typical flagship. And in benchmarks, we do see great scores from the S25 Edge, right near the top of the charts. It is slightly lower than the other S25 phones in some tests though. A contributing factor is the S25 Edge's lower than average thermal management, which is probably due to the phone's thin chassis. We observed significant thermal throttling during our prolonged stress test, starting from the first 5 minutes of testing. Another compromise is the battery. It's 3900 mAh here, compared to 4900 on the Galaxy S25 Plus. As a result, the battery life is less on the S25 Edge, but it's still not too bad. The phone earned an overall active use score of 12 hours and 6 minutes in our tests. Charging is rated at 25 watts here, and there's no charger in the box. The charging speed is comparable to the other S25 flagships. We were able to charge from 0 to 59% in half an hour, and a full charge took an hour and 4 minutes. There's also support for wireless charging here. And now the cameras. And like I mentioned, there's no telephoto cam here. What you're left with is the same 200 megapixel main cam from the S25 Ultra, paired with an ultrawide that has autofocus. Daylight photos from the main cam are the same as you'd get from the S25 Ultra. You have the same camera and the same processing. These photos are sharp and detailed with wide dynamic range, and the colors are likable without going overboard with the saturation. And shots of people come out great too. Although you might miss a dedicated telephoto camera, 2x digital zoom from the main cam is pretty good. The shots are a little less sharp than the regular ones, but they still hold up well. In low light, we weren't too impressed with the main cam's default performance. Although there is an automatic night mode, it will rarely kick in, so you most often end up with rather soft and noisy photos with some clipped highlights. At least there's plenty of detail, and the colors are accurate. You can manually toggle on the night mode and it fixes some of the issues, clearing up the noise and adding some sharpness. The night mode also improves contrast and adds some color saturation, making the photos much more likable. And here's a look at 2x digital zoom at night. If the night mode is turned on, the results are quite usable. Daylight photos from the ultrawide cam are solid, but not spectacular. They're the same as what you get from the Galaxy S25. The difference is that this camera has autofocus as well, so it can shoot closer subjects without a hitch. At night, just as with the main cam, you'll probably want to use the night mode when shooting with the ultrawide. Here's what the shots look like by default. With the night mode on, the photos still aren't terribly sharp, but they are decently detailed, with wide dynamic range, and colors and contrasts that match the main camera's processing. The S25 Edge has a 12-megapixel selfie cam with autofocus, the same as the rest of the S25 series. The selfies are excellent, with natural colors and skin tones, wide dynamic range, and plenty of detail. The S25 Edge can record video in up to 8K with its main cam, while the ultrawide and selfie cameras can shoot in 4K. When looking at 4K video, the main camera does an excellent job. The footage is clean, with wide dynamic range, good sharpness, and plenty of detail. Colors are punchy, but not over the top. The ultrawide delivers good videos too, though they're not as sharp as those from the main camera. The electronic stabilization works great here, it's some of the best around. Footage comes out very smooth. And the main camera does a good job when recording at night. The low light clips are very clean, with good contrast and excellent sharpness. So that's the Galaxy S25 Edge. It offers the features of the S25 flagships instead of a thinner and lighter, yet still durable package. So does that make it worth getting? The thin design is quite elegant and impressive. The problem is, as soon as you slap on a case, which you should onto this $1,000 phone, that wouldn't be as noticeable. On top of that, there are compromises that had to be made for that design. The speakers, chipset performance, and battery all are a bit of a downgrade, and you lose out on a telephoto cam too. Because of that, unless the slim look really speaks to you, it's hard to recommend getting the S25 Edge over one of the other S25 flagships already out there. Thanks for watching, guys. Here are links to our reviews of the Galaxy S25 Plus and the Galaxy S25 Ultra. Let us know what you think, and I'll see you on the next one.